Action. Let's go. Welcome back. Happy Tuesday. And we are back on YouTube to break down today's MLB picks. We've got some games we like today. We're going to break them down, give you some of our thoughts. As always, if you join in on us today, get in there. Let us know if you have any questions. We are happy to answer any questions you might have. So come on in. Let us know if you have anything. If not, no worries. We'll just give you our breakdown. It'll be on our page. You can come back and listen to it anytime you'd like. We have games starting here in about 5-6 hours. So you've got plenty of time to research also into anything that we say today. But let's talk about some games today. First, Mr. Hampton, I want to welcome you to the show. Thank you for being here for 2 days in a row. Happy Tuesday. Give us your takeaway from yesterday. What did you see in baseball that you want to share with us?
Yeah, no, it's great to be here for another day. I'm getting a streak going here. Just like the Cardinals, right? I mean, last night, they took a dump on the Brewers. We were telling people we're steering them away from that game, and here we are. The Cardinals are putting up 18 runs, which is a very rare thing. So, it's kind of encouraging to see, but that can easily go back to stormy times again. So we'll see what happens there with the Cardinals, whether they can keep that going against the Brewers. But yeah, that. And then the other thing that kind of just pissed me off was Brad Keller, and not really Brad Keller's, but the fact that the Padres could not do anything against a guy who was put up 8 walks in that game and could barely get the ball across the plate at times. And had no command of that ball. And yet the Padres can only put up 3 runs. So, I don't know what's going on with that team. So they're not fun to watch. There's something about that team that's really missing. So, those are the main things. Acuna hitting bombs again, but outside of that, how about yourself?
Yeah, definitely. So sorry to anyone if they listened to us about the Cardinals game. Look, we were dead wrong on it, but we did say stay away or don't bet it. It was one of those games where I needed to see something before I ended up backing the Cardinals in any way again. Flaherty came out and pitched well. Good for him. That's good. Now we got to see it more consistently. But yeah, I would kind of go piggyback off you with last night. What I took away from last night, the most frustrating thing was how the Padres failed to score more than 3 runs against Brad Keller. The guy walked 8 batters in the game. 8 batters. There was a guy who came on last night and said that Brad Keller has walked more batters this year than struck out. That's something that's very hard to do. So the fact that the Padres are still struggling to score runs, and the Royals, they're not any better, but whatever. We expected the Padres to do more yesterday. I'm just waiting for this Padres team to get going. I know they won the game, but when you've got that kind of offense, you got to put up more than 3 runs against Brad Keller. So, yeah, that was a very disappointing performance last night that I saw from San Diego after getting swept by the Dodgers. I know they won, as I've said, but still, you got to show up against Brad Keller.
Yeah. A win's a win, but yeah, to me, it's a team that you look at and you're like, when is this going to turn on? They keep talking as if they are going to turn themselves on, but and then on the other side too, it's unforeseeable that all of a sudden that Michael Wacha, who's all of a sudden a 50-year-old, looks like a 50-year-old man, is going to start throwing a potential no-hitter into the 7th inning. So, that's the great thing about betting too, and sports. You just never know, right?
Exactly. Yes, sir. You're right about that. But hey, today's a new day. We had a pretty good day yesterday. I think we for all the picks that we shared, we were pretty solid. We had some profit, so we'll hopefully turn that around today into another positive day and share some of these picks. So let's get into it. Let's get into the Tuesday MLB card, and we'll start us off today. Nationals Marlins are in the leadoff spot. First game at 5:40 Central Time tonight. We've got Josiah Gray up against Jesus Luzardo, 2 young pitchers who are having pretty solid seasons, I would say. You look at Josiah Gray with a 2.96 ERA and Luzardo with a 3.38 ERA. So I am looking into this game. I'm going to have some action. I haven't locked it in yet. Most of these bets I have not locked in yet. I have mostly strong leans right now. I'll be posting it on my page today when I get to it. But my strong lean right now in this game is the Nationals. Before I start getting into why I like the Nationals, sorry, let me be clear. First 5. I like the Nationals first 5 today. But before I get into the breakdown of why I like the Nationals, Mr. Hampton, I have to ask you really quick. In all of baseball, who do you think is the number one team in strikeouts against. So who has struck out the least amount of times? What team would you guess today if you had to make one pick, one team?
Whew. I mean, I'm guessing it's one of the teams that we're talking about right now,
Could
which would
be.
be um, teams that strike out the least. I would definitely put the Rays. I feel like the Rays would be up there. Um, uh, are you telling me that one of these teams, maybe the Miami Marlins, strike out the
Could,
least?
could it be? Could it be?
Wow.
How
I mean, I
about
could
this?
see them. I don't think it's the Nationals though. I know the Nationals have been all right, but
Well,
they're not playing that well.
I've got
Who
to
is
share
it?
something with you here. I don't know.
Okay.
We'll see. I got to share my screen here with you because I don't want you guys to think that I'm just pulling stuff out of my ass here. If we look at MLB hitting, right? MLB hitting, I have selected strikeouts. I've solidified it here. Minnesota is the
Mhm.
top team that strikes out the most. They're tied with Oakland. If you go all the way down the list, look at who's number 30. The
Wow.
Washington Nationals are the team who has struck out the least of any Major League Baseball team this season. If you have
Wow.
something if you're surprised about anything in life, it should be that. I am very shocked to see the Nationals are the number one team in strikeouts against this season. I mean, when I was doing my research, I knew the Nationals were really good against left-handed pitchers. That's what I'm going to get into a little bit more here. But the fact that the Nationals strike out the least, that is very impressive for such a team like them, one of the worst teams in
Mhm.
baseball, a team who has a lot of young, inexperienced players. They've struck out the least amount in all of baseball this season. Like I said, I am just mind blown about that. So I just wanted to share that with you guys before I get into everything. Yeah, I like the
That
Nationals'
is
first five today. Am I right, Mr. Hampton? Do you have anything to say about that?
that's the most shocking news I've heard all day. Again, I'm not the world's greatest follower of stats in baseball. I mean, I use it for this, but to learn that they strike out the least, that says something about them.
Yep.
Um, and that's probably why they kind of I mean, they're not going to win the division, but they've hung in there. So
Yeah.
um, they're
Look,
not the worst team in baseball.
that tells me they take a good approach at the plate. In this day of age, we see all the analytics. We see guys with bases loaded, nobody out, they can't score runs. The Nationals, I haven't watched a lot of them this year, but that right there, without watching any games, tells me they take good at bats. They have a very smart approach at the plate. So I like that. That's not the only reason I'm betting them tonight. I like the way they're playing right now. They're putting up runs. They had a really good series against the Mets, and they're getting a lefty tonight. If you look at what this team's done against lefties, very, very solid. I mean, again, for a team who is not expected to be good at all, they are sixth in the league against lefties in OPS. They are, I'll give you all the numbers here. They're
Yeah, no.
number 9 in slugging percentage in all of baseball against lefties. On base percentage, this is the one that I like the most. Number 2 in on base percentage, right behind the Atlanta Braves at 366 average on base percentage. And their batting average against lefties is right behind the Tampa Bay Rays at 304 against left-handed pitchers. And that's who they're facing tonight in Jesus Luzardo. So to me, I think this is a really good spot for the Nationals. They've got their best pitchers on the mound, arguably their best pitcher, Josiah Gray. Now the Marlins do have some good numbers against Gray. I know I see some guys here who have success against him. I think Jazz Chisholm's still going to be out, so that is a key player out of their lineup. But look at Miami, man. They're not a good offense. They're a very hit or miss team. When they're bad, they're bad. If you look at their offense, they're last in the league in runs per 9, 13th in strikeouts against, 24th in home runs, 26th in OPS. So there's a lot of things here that I like. I think there's some good value on the first 5 for the Nationals here, because sometimes it takes the Marlins a little bit to get going. You can play it how
Mhm.
you want it. I would honestly play money line or first 5, because even first 5 plus a half, you're getting at minus 105. There's not much juice there to that. You're almost getting even money on that. So personally, I think that's a really solid look. Nationals, the big reason keeping me away from full game here is the Nationals bullpen. I still have
Yeah.
some concerns with their bullpen. They give me a lot of concerns, which is why I want to stay away there. So yeah, I just like the way they hit against lefties. They're going up against Luzardo, and Josiah Gray's been good. So give me the Nationals here, first 5. I haven't decided which way, but either money line or plus a half, I think is a smart way to go in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah. Especially if you're getting plus a half. But my here's the question I have here is how do you feel about? I mean, Jesus Luzardo is he's decent. He pitches decently at home, has some pretty good metrics there. How do you feel about that I mean, in this situation?
Yeah, Luzardo's definitely taken a bit of a step back since he started the season. I know he has been good overall, but
Mm-hmm.
looking at some of his numbers here, his advanced metrics, I'll give you some things on him for what I have seen.
Sure.
Let's see. Give me a second as I pull that up here, if it lets me. Let's see. So yeah, some of his metrics here. Here's some things that I don't like about him. He has a batting average of balls in play at 344 average. It's pretty bad.
Ooh,
Now he
yeah.
doesn't allow a lot of home runs, which is good. He's got an 8.3 home run to fly ball ratio. But his ERA and his xERA and FIP are all about what he should be. So numbers are suggesting that all of his numbers are what they should be. They're not, he's not being lucky. He's not getting unlucky. He's right about the place that he should. So yeah, I think this is definitely a tougher matchup for the Nationals going up against lefty. They did face David Peterson yesterday, who was a lot softer thrower than him, and he's one of the worst pitchers in baseball. But yeah, I think Luzardo has come back a little bit down to earth since the beginning of the season. He does. It looks like according to his splits, he does pitch better at home than on the road. So you could take that how you want it. 29 innings pitched. He's got a 2.79 ERA, but I like the fact about how the Nationals play. I like the way they're kind of grinded out team, and they got nothing to lose. So I like them here. That's why I'm going to play it for a first 5.
Yeah, no, that was just the one question I wanted to see, and it looks like you've done the research there because he does tend to pitch well at home. But I thought this is a decent lean. I think kind of going in that direction, and it's weird because the Nationals are not really a flashy team, right? Name me the roster. Not many people could do that of the Nationals right now. So
Exactly.
yeah, they know
So
how to
yeah,
do it.
we'll see what happens, but I'll take a shot here. I think it's just a good value play. I'm looking more at it from the number standpoint. Miami's just a hard offense for me to trust. If I'm ever going to back Miami, we always got to pray for that offense to show up. So I'm hoping tonight it's a little stagnant, doesn't show up enough because we all know how hard it can be to score runs for that team. So hopefully Josiah Gray's on his game and they can steal a couple runs in the first 5 and we can get a little hit. But yeah, I think there's a lot of good stuff that I've seen profiled from Josiah Gray on Savant. I'll show that really quick here before we get to the next game. I don't want to hammer on this too much, but just a couple of things that I liked here. If you look, the average exit velocity against him, that means teams are not hitting the ball really hard against him. He's not allowing a lot of hard contact. So you see all the red there in those areas. And then, down below, you see the walks are a little bit up. K percentage is kind of low, but that's where in this kind of game, I feel comfortable backing him just because of the offense he's facing. So those were just some of the metrics I liked about Josiah Gray and why I wanted to back him here.
Yeah. No, he's kind of a little sneaky pitcher. You don't think he's going to do good, but he is probably one of the Nationals' better pitchers. So that's been pretty interesting to follow.
Yeah, for sure. All right, good stuff there on the Nationals and the Marlins. Let's get to the next game, Cubs-Astros. This is another interesting one to me. Haven't been locked in. I definitely feel more comfortable with this Nationals game so far. That's the stronger lean of all of them. I'm going to be playing the Nationals. I should just say it right now. I'm playing the Nationals tonight. I just haven't decided which way, first 5, money line, or a half. But Cubs and Astros, this is another game I'm looking into from a first 5 perspective. I look at this game. I don't like how the way the Cubs are playing right now. That is the one concern. That's the one thing that's kind of holding me back. But I do like Justin Steele, and I like the price that we're getting it with him at a first 5. And the Astros sometimes can be a little bit slow to get started in games. I know yesterday they scored 4 runs. They didn't score again until like the 7th or 8th inning. They took a little bit to get going again. Tonight, I think they have a much tougher matchup against Justin Steele. We all know Justin Steele having a great season. Astros offense, actually, it's pretty surprising to see what their offense has done. Eventually, I think they're going to get going. But they rank in the bottom half in a lot of categories. They're 21st in runs per 9, 18th in average, 28th. This was the one that really surprised me. They're 28th in OPS, and that's good for 678. 25th in home runs, too. So they're not hitting a lot of home runs. So that kind of stuff scared me a little bit about the Astros, especially from a first 5 perspective. So I do lean toward the Cubs here at a first 5 price. Let's see. If you get them first 5, again, it's plus money on the money line. And then minus 105. So pretty much the same way from the Nationals. Christian Javier, pretty solid pitcher. I think the Cubs, with the way they're swinging the bat, could struggle against them. But if I end up playing this first 5, I think I would probably go with the plus a half here. Because if they are tied at the end, I think there's a better chance of that happening than, of course, the Astros. So, yeah, I like the Cubs first 5. That would be one of my other strong leans for today. Any thoughts on this game, Mr. Hampton?
Well, I definitely like this because there's several things that I agree with that you've said in this is that from watching the Houston Astros play, they've really have been a slow team. Like they start slow in games, and so I've definitely noticed that. And it's really the back end of the games where they start to score runs and they break down the relief pitching and everything. So I do like that first five aspect of it. I actually think the Cubs, from watching them last night against Houston, they held their own. I mean, their number one Bellinger made a great catch, but that offense was able to at least kind of chug along and hang in there with them. So I like this. I also like the fact that really both sides of this haven't seen a lot of each pitcher. So I think that kind of leads to helping that kind of keeping it really close aspect for the first five. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think this is a solid lane, and I mean I don't know what the score is going to be on the front part, but yeah,
So this was
I can
on
see.
May 12th. I was looking into some more research. I found this online. I looked into like how teams do first five, and I
Mhm.
found this on OddsShark. This was published on May 12th, so I got to give credit to them. OddsShark posted this article how teams are doing in the first five of games. Astros at home are 5-7-7 on the first five line.
Wow.
So if you were a 1 unit better, you'd be down $330 with them if you were betting on them. They're a
Yeah.
much better first five team on the road. They're 10-5-3. You'd be up 471 with them if you're betting with them. So some
Mm.
interesting things, some interesting aspects. If you look at the Cubs overall, and this is from a couple days ago, so it could be updated, but 16, 13, and 8 first five the Cubs are this season. So those are a couple other things why I like the Cubs here. I think with Justin Steele, he can keep the Astros down. And if we get a tie game after five, then we win our bet. If you do the first five plus a half, I think that's also a good look. But yeah, that's the way I want to play it. And hopefully we can both cash on this if we end up playing it.
Yeah. Well, and I'm looking more on the over because of the back end of this, and that's again from seeing what
Mm-hmm.
I've seen, through the last part of it is, I think Christian Javier, Jordan Still, really. I keep saying Jordan Still, it's Justin Still. Both great solid pitchers. I just think once you get into both of those bullpens, those bullpens can give up runs too. So yeah. It's everyone keeps saying when is Justin still going to have some regression, but I mean that guy keeps hit. I mean he keeps going out there and pitching decently. So little gem for the Cubs.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was high on him coming into the season. I definitely did not expect him to be this good, though. I expected him to
No,
be a solid starting pitcher, but I mean, what I've seen from Justin Steele has been very impressive. I mean, 6-0 with a 1.82 ERA. That's just really, really good. And you could argue
yeah,
he has had a little bit, not a lot. I wouldn't say it's like a huge blow up game, but against the Cardinals, he wasn't super sharp. You could argue that was probably one of his worst starts of the season. And that's saying
yeah.
something. He went 6 innings. He gave up 7 hits and 3 runs. I mean, that's not even bad. But of all the
That's not
games
bad
he's
at
played
all.
in this year, that's probably been one of his worst starts. And that's, like I said, that is saying something. So
Yeah,
yeah, I like what I'm seeing from Justin Steele, and I think he's got a nice little matchup tonight. I think the Astros are still, kind of trying to find their way, and they will eventually get going. They're going to get back and healthier, but I got to see more from them before I trust them. So yeah, give me the Cubs tonight, first five, either money
I
line
like
or
that.
probably plus a half. But I like your over too, because the back
Yeah.
end of these bullpens, especially the Cubs, have been very bad lately. So I've not been very impressed with that Cubs bullpen.
And you noticed that just how the game played out last night. I mean, Cubs were in it until they got into that bullpen, and that bullpen started leaking runs, and that's how they've been. And I saw it with them with the Cardinals last week too. And you're just like, this bullpen isn't the strongest right now. So I like, and that's why I like that first five play. I think they can keep it close, but after that first five, you just don't know what you're going to get. So yeah.
Yes. And one more quick thing. I don't want to keep babbling on about this. We'll get to the next game
Oh
here. But
no.
the most
All right.
profitable pitch that they highlighted the most profitable first five pitchers in baseball this season. Justin Steele is a profit of 300. If you're a 1 unit better, $341.25, and he's 5-1-2. That's good for 83%. Justin Steele is this season
Wow.
first five. So I think those
Wow.
numbers are kind of hard to pass up there, man. So
Jeez. I mean, again, doing your research there. I mean, this is stuff that I mean very few people would really and definitely look into. So
Yep,
yeah, I like it.
definitely. All right,
It's
awesome. Well,
sad.
good
Jose Abreu hasn't done anything this year. That guy is
man.
like, what's going
He's ice
on?
cold, ice cold, man, ice cold. All right,
So
let's get to the next game. This one, Brewers Cardinals. I'm gonna play this way, a certain way. I'm not playing a side. I am going to.
okay,
I like the number here that we're getting. I did this yesterday with the Diamondbacks. I am liking the Cardinals' first 5 team total over 2.5. I like the way they're swinging the bat, and they get a favorable
mhm.
matchup tonight. Wade Miley. I know Wade Miley is having a solid season, but he's been coming back down to earth. He got rocked his last start. A lot of the metrics suggest he is going to regress more. And this Cardinals lineup is hitting right now, and especially Nolan Arenado. Nolan Arenado's on fire, home runs in 4 straight games now, I believe. And if you look at his numbers against Miley, it's great. 391 average and 23 at bats. Even Contreras has really good numbers against him. 360 average, 25 at bats, 1 home run. Goldschmidt is batting 500 against him with 2 home runs in his career, and then Tommy Edman too. So I think this is a great spot to back the Cardinals again for how good their offense is rolling right now. And if you play them at 2.5 over in the first 5 innings, you're getting plus money on it. Plus 105 is what I'm seeing on Bovada right now. So I think
That's
this
pretty
is
good.
also a great shot at hitting. If the Cardinals offense was kind of slumbers right now, I would probably stay away, but they're looking good right now. So I'm gonna rock the hot offense, and hopefully they can have 3 runs against Miley after 5. Any thoughts on this game at all, Mr. Hampton?
I like this number one because you're just really banking on the Cardinals scoring like 3 runs, right? And I like the fact that you're getting that value is what sells me on this as well. My only thing that I kind of put out there as I think that kind of watch and think about is, and just to be comfortable with, is putting up 18 runs is a lot, and then to be able to turn it around the next day and put up runs, I think that can be a lot to ask a team. And like sometimes you see bats kind of go cold a little bit, but again, all you're asking for in this case is 3 runs, which is a couple of doubles, a home run, or something like that, and boom, you're in there. So I kind of like that part. It's just something to think about as you're trying to get comfortable with this bet.
Yeah, no, fair point. It's always a fair point when a team scores that many runs one day. Can they bounce back with that? So, yeah, I think that's definitely a valid point. I think I'm looking at it more from the value standpoint and how the offense
Yeah.
is rolling right now. So hopefully they can come out today and score some runs against Wade Miley, the guy that we all know is a bum in reality.
I don't know how Wade Miley continually does it. So, well, we'll
Yeah,
see.
like
Maybe Kenny
I
pick
think
him
I,
up.
I think yeah, I think he showed his true self the last week against the Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers just pummeled him, and yeah, I gotta see more from Wade Miley before I have any kind of faith in him. I gotta see like a whole year of just dominance before I tell you Wade Miley is a good starting pitcher. Just don't see it,
And
and
it's not
yeah,
going to happen. Yeah, that's
no,
you. That's highly unlikely that Wade Miley is going to be good in for an entire year.
no,
So,
no.
no,
All
that's not
right,
going to happen.
awesome. Good stuff on that game. Let's keep it rolling. Let's go to the next one. Red Sox Mariners. Mr. Hampton has some action or some thoughts on this game, so I'll let you start on this game. Red Sox
Yeah.
Mariners. What you got, Mr. Hampton?
So with the Red Sox Mariners here, let me pull some of this stuff up here. So I like this pitching matchup here that we have in this game. So I've kind of been leaning towards this is not an official, but it's where I'm going with this is taking the Marlins run line on this. I watched how they played last night. Apparently, their bats suddenly woke up, so that under that I had last night was not even close to being relevant. But they are playing well against Boston right now. And there's something going on with Boston where they just cannot. That back of that bullpen is disgusting in terms of how many runs it could give. So I like Luis Castillo here. Pavetta, I mean, he pitched. He can throw out a good game here and there, but I don't think his ERA at home. I thought I wrote it down. I don't have it, but it's not good at home. I think it's like up in the sixes. So he struggles there. And so what I'm banking on tonight is a similar game to what we saw last night from the Mariners. Is that they're going to go out there, they're going to be getting some runs. They're going to get into either Pavetta or the back end of this, and be able to put a little bit of distance. So I took the run line on this. I actually looked at the alternate run line of -2.5. So because I think that they could put a pretty good distance in it. So that's where I'm going, taking a little risk there. And I mean, it's really around what I'm seeing from the Seattle offense and from Luis Castillo. I mean, just that he's the better pitcher out of those starters. So I'm definitely open to your thoughts, but yeah, that's kind of what my lean on this game here.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I think you're going with the hotter team, and you're fading the team who's cold right now. I mean, I don't think the Red Sox are a team you can back right now. I mean, the
Yeah.
offense is just not clicking. The bullpen is not looking good. They've blown, 2 games against the Cardinals last night. Their bullpen did bad. And now they're getting another tough pitcher in Luis Castillo. And so, yeah, I like it. I think this is a good look. Like I said, you're getting the hotter team with the Mariners, who are playing much better. Their offense is picked up, and you're fading Nick Pivetta. Nick Pivetta is one of the worst pitchers in baseball this season. There's just nothing good to say about that guy. I could go on about Nick Pivetta. I would totally fade him in any aspect. His savant metrics are awful. I mean, hard hit percentage is in the 3rd percentile, average exit velocity, 2nd percentile, slug percentage, 6th percentile. I mean, there's nothing good except for his curveball spin is the only thing that shows up as red here. So I got nothing good to say about Pivetta. I'm totally with you. I like your pick with the Mariners. I'm all in with you on that pick.
Yeah, I like it. And the other thing too, and I've noticed it again, I just through watching these games, is all of a sudden these teams playing, these opponents playing at Fenway Park are hitting the hell out of the ball. I mean, it's partly the pitchers or maybe that ballpark, but I mean, we saw it with Arenado last night. Cal Raleigh went off and everything. So I mean, these people they're hitting the ball really hard there. So that's not a good sign for Boston.
Yeah, totally agree. I know it's weird how that park is turned into like. I mean, I know it's a smaller park, but still, you're seeing so many runs there usually in those games. So definitely interesting to see. But I like the play. I support it with the Mariners. Good luck with the pick on that one.
Thank you, sir. Let's hope so.
All right, let's move on to the next one. D-backs Athletics. I know you've got some action on this game too. I'll also touch up on it after you start us off. But D-backs Athletics, what you got here, Mr. Hampton?
So again, let's go back here. So we got Henry versus what do you say? How do you say his name? Mueller? I don't know. Again, kind of this is really based off of the pitching matchup. I'm not going to really touch much of the over right now. I mean, probably will hit today, the day I don't take it. But again, this is one of those games where I was like, you know what, the Arizona Diamondbacks are just the higher performing team here. I do like the stuff that Henry brings to the table. I don't know his numbers away from home. I can take a look at it here, but I think you just get the better pitching here. And then I see the Diamondbacks really putting up some runs against Mueller here today to where it's comfortable for the run line. So I don't know how I feel about the over on this, but again, I'm not going to tell no one to say, I'm not going to tell people not to take something like that. But yeah, I'm liking the run line for this game here as a lean right now.
Never a bad way to go, especially when it's the Oakland Athletics playing, or I should say the Las Vegas Athletics, because this team's soon to be moving to Las Vegas. But yeah, I mean,
that's dangerous.
Two pitchers here. Let's see. I'm looking at some of their numbers here. I will say this: the Athletics do hit lefties better. If there's one thing good to say about this team, they do hit lefties better. 257 average with 4.29 runs per 9. But Arizona's a good team. They're going to score runs. I think they should be able to score some off Mueller. Yeah, I like the run line there, but I also do kind of support the over too. I think the over could be a good look. I know last night we didn't see it. I would say most of that had to do because Merrill Kelly shut that pathetic offense down. But I think it would be kind of harder for Henry to do it today. So I'd say I'd feel comfortable back in the over. I don't know if I'll get there with it, but anytime you see the Athletics bullpen, I mean, you always got a chance. I'll say it all the time. They always have a chance to win you a game. So yeah, I would say Diamondbacks a good look for the first for the run line. And then I think over is a solid play too, in my opinion.
Yeah. I might actually take a look. I didn't even look at the first 5 in that game as well, but I don't know if I would. But I was just looking at it. I mean, Henry, his ERA away is 6.75. That's pretty high, but again, still, I definitely trust the Diamondbacks more on this side. And um, I mean, hey, Oakland can put some up. It's that 9.5. Is that the over under? Oof. I mean, hey,
I see
what
9
did you?
runs at -125 on mine. So
Oh, okay.
it's probably creeping up to 125 though. I'm sure that's what
Yeah.
most books are offering.
Okay. So around 9, I think that's a very comfortable, like that's an over would be willing to tickle, especially at Oakland and that
Yeah.
Coliseum,
Yeah.
where it basically sounds like a high school game the entire time.
First 5 for the Diamondbacks is, I know we took it yesterday, but they are 2.5 again at 115, priced 115 on the book. So
Uh,
about the same way.
yeah. Yeah. So I'm kind of like that kind of helps support kind of that run line aspect in total game. But again, minus
Yep.
1.5 is a lot that can be hard to cover at times. I just feel comfortable with that today, with that Diamondbacks offense. And hopefully
Yep.
I like I mean, I could see your lean here too with I'm looking at the numbers now with Oakland. It's just so hard, man. It's so
It
hard to
is.
trust that team.
It is. I totally 100% agree with you. I would never disagree with how hard it can be to trust that Oakland Athletics team. No doubt about it.
I mean,
All right.
Jesus
Let's see. Let's go to the game here. Pull it up. And so Philly and Giants to me. So Giants coming in, saw a decent game yesterday. They scored some runs. Now the Phillies came out and started a bullpen game, and then Bailey Falter came in and was absolutely terrible. Bailey Falter is a horrible starting pitcher this season. Not a lot of good things to say about him. But tonight we get Alex Cobb and we get Zach on the mound. Zach Wheeler for the Phillies trying to stop their mini losing streak of 2 games. I strongly lean toward the Phillies here. I think they have a good shot to pull it off. I know we're going up. I think the Phillies are just a much stronger offense here. And you've got the Giants who actually are going to be pretty slow. If Cobb starts out bad, or if he goes short leashed, their bullpen's been used a lot. And that would be my one concern here is that Giants bullpen is bad. And if we even if we get these 2 pitchers to do well up to the point in like 6th, 7th innings, I still think the advantage goes to the Phillies. Don't love their bullpen a lot, but I still think it's good enough and much better than the Giants. So I do have a strong lean to the Phillies right now. Now, Alex Cobb has been good. I think he's due for some regression, though. I don't think he's going to keep this up. A lot of the metrics suggest he's going to have some regression here. He's got a 1.7 ERA on the season. That's pretty crazy to me. I don't think Alex Cobb, like I said, I don't think he's going to keep that up. And he gets a tougher lineup tonight. You know, the Phillies, they have hit righties pretty well this season. That's one of their strong suits is hitting right-handed pitchers rather than lefties. I know teams just struggle against those kind of teams and all that. But, yeah, I think the Phillies, you know, coming off a little bit of a slower game yesterday, they can come out today. Against right-handed pitchers, the Phillies rank 270 average. They're averaging 5 runs per 9 and an on-base percentage of 339. The Giants on the other side, not as much good stuff against right-handed pitchers, and Zach Wheeler profiles pretty well. So I like the Phillies here. If I get to it, they're going to be another strong lean for me. The Phillies money line at about -118 is what I'm seeing at. Mr. Hampton, any thoughts on that game at all?
I like the only thing about it is just like when is Alex Cobb going to regress? Because every time, you know, like I've taken him and taken against him several times, and it's just like this guy still like he puts up miracle numbers against the Cardinals, and I mean at home he's pretty damn good. And I just don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me, but I like that because of the numbers on the Philadelphia side and they need to start hitting a little bit more too, and they can. And I mean, it almost would tickle the over too at 7.5, or is what I'm seeing here. So I do
Yes.
like that lean.
Look,
Zach Wheeler is pretty good. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say really quick. Yes, I like that aspect too of it. I don't know if I'll get there with it, but anytime I see
Mhm.
such a low total, and especially with bullpens who are so vulnerable to give up runs like the Giants and even
Yeah.
sometimes the Phillies, that's just such a low total. And if these starting pitchers, you know, they could all have one of these guys could have a bad game, and it's like it opens it up for everybody, you know. So that's why I am very skeptical. Whenever I see an under at 7, 7.5, I'm always skeptical to play the under because of those things. So I think that's also a good look too. You're not going to have Wheeler and Cobb pitch incredible the rest of the season. Like they're going to have slip up games. I think tonight could be that game for Cobb. He's not going to continue doing this. He's just not. It's impossible to do forever.
It is. I don't know how he continues to do it too, but I do like this, and especially the what I think what you mentioned, that the secret to that is the bullpen, and you're exactly right. I mean, they've really been taxing that bullpen on the Giants side, and it's not a very trustworthy thing as well. So I do like that as well.
And I wanted to show you really quick. I know you'll like this. MLB Savant. Look at Zach Wheeler's. Look at Zach Wheeler with all the things that like this all says that basically what he's doing this year is not. If anything, he's getting unlucky. He's got a 3.80 ERA. I think that's good. But if anything, it just shows that he's getting a little bit unlucky because this all shows that he is doing well in every aspect of this freaking thing. So look at that. His barrel percentage is 95th percentile, average exit velocity. And again, I will say this until the day I die. Analytics are not everything. I don't always look into analytics, but I always like to look at how a pitcher does and how they're measuring him in a season because it is important to look at. It's important to see if the numbers really are backed up by what we're seeing here. So that is another thing I wanted to show to you guys today is Wheeler's looking really good, at least from the advanced side of it too.
Yeah, I mean, he has a pretty decent record for this year too, and everything. And again, we mentioned it yesterday. There's some pitchers out there where it's just the matchup that they have where they have some bad luck, and where it's run support or they're just facing better pitching. But I like this matchup here. I do like the batting numbers for Philadelphia against the Giants pitching. So this is a decent lean. I would definitely might look into it a little bit more.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I think the Giants' offense is definitely not going to do too hot. And what's his name? Jock Peterson is supposed to be out again. I'm pretty sure he's got some issues with his hand or something. But I also pull up Alex Cobb just to kind of give a comparison. This to me says he's just getting a little bit too lucky, and that's why I think he's due for some aggression. Look at that hard hit percentage against hard hit percentile is 14th. You got the whiff percentage, fastball spin. The walks, he does do really well in allowing walks. He doesn't walk a lot of batters, so that's a good thing for him. But there are some things that suggest Alex Cobb is going to have a little bit of regression. I think tonight's a good opportunity against the Phillies. So,
and one thing I've noticed, and I don't know if teams are really taking advantage of it yet, but Alex Cobb is really a pitch for contact pit, and so his success is throwing up crap. And you swinging at it and putting it in the outs. It's when a good team can get, and I think Philadelphia could do that tonight, is when they can put better contact on the ball and on the junk that he's hitting and start hitting the shit out of there. Sorry for the language, but that becomes a totally different game.
Yep.
So
I totally agree with you on that. No doubt about it.
And that's just evidence there. I didn't know his numbers were that bad. Yeah. I don't know. It has to happen eventually. You can't have a 1.7 ERA as Alex Cobb. I hate to say it. You just can't.
He might just be a guy I keep fading until he has that bad game because it's going to happen. We've seen his worst a couple in years past, so I don't think we're going to see some magical thing happen where he just has the best year of his life.
And there's small sample sizes, but all right numbers, from Bohm. Let's see who else here. Ramuto seems to do somewhat decently against Cobb. So, I like those numbers there.
For sure. All right. Well, that is all I've got for games. I'll throw together this. I'm going to do one of these tonight. I'm feeling some dogs on the card. MLB Moneyline Dog Parlay. I like to find 3 teams who I think can win that I think, are priced a little bit too high, and I want to put it together, and I'm going to put 3 teams together. It's a long shot to happen, but I've had one hit this year, and I've had others come very close. It's either one team misses it or they all lose, whatever. I've gotten close to multiple, but I'm going to throw this one together, and this is usually not for a lot. This is just to put a little bit down for some fun. So not going to kill my bankroll doing this. It's money that I have set aside to play around with. But the three teams I like today are, I'm going to kind of go back to the first 5 games. Like, I think there's good enough. I'm not going to play them full game, but I'm going to play them in the dog parlay. So I like the Nationals. They're a part of it. I like the Cubs. And then my third team is the Rays. I know they're going up against Verlander and the Mets, but I mean, like these other teams, man, show me something before I can bet you guys. And if you're going to give me the Rays at some plus money, I'll take it. And if it's just part of a little parlay, I'll take it all day. It's not a straight bet for me, but yeah, until the Mets can show me more consistency, they're coming off some terrible series. They need to get right. Maybe this is their get right series. I don't know, but I certainly don't want to fade Tampa Bay off an off day. Verlander's on the mound. I'm sure a lot of people are backing the Mets tonight for that reason. I'm going to throw those 3 teams together, and maybe one of them, or maybe they can all win for me. We'll see. But, yeah, I'm going to throw those teams together for the money line dog parlay. Yeah, sorry.
No, I love it because it's so weird that the value you're getting out of the Rays tonight, the more I think about it, it's like, I know Verlander's good, but I mean, we're talking about the Rays here, and you're giving them, over plus 135 on a money line. I'll take that every day of the week.
Yeah.
I don't care who they're playing against.
And like I said, it's like it's a team, how good the Rays have been this year until they start showing, a slight regression or whatever. If they start playing bad, then yeah, maybe this isn't a spot to be playing them. But they're coming off games where they've scored runs against the Yankees, and yeah, I think they can certainly get the Verlander. Verlander's still pretty solid, but this will be a tough matchup for him. The Tampa Bay Rays love going into New York and performing. I mean, everybody loves going to play in New York in front of that crowd and showing them, especially Tampa Bay. They're a low payroll kind of team, and I think they'll come out tonight, hopefully score some runs, and I need them to win for the parlay, so hopefully they'll win the game.
They're just a scrappy lineup, too. And, I mean, the thing is, they've been in New York, right?
Yep, that's another great thing, yes. That's another great thing. They didn't have to travel, so.
Yeah.
Always an advantage
comfortable. There. They know what's going on there. So, yeah.
Yep.
I like this as a nice little deep pockets Tuesday, Monday, underdog money line parlay right there. Yeah.
Yes.
Those don't hit if you don't play them. That's the way I say it.
Yep, exactly. So, all right, guys. Well, good stuff, Mr. Hampton. Thank you for joining us today on the YouTube to break down some of these MLB games. Looking forward to seeing how they pan out tonight. I'll be posting the plays on Twitter as we always do. And hopefully, whether you go with us or fade us, it's up to you and how you want to play it. But good luck to everyone tonight. And we will be back here maybe tomorrow. We'll figure out a schedule. I know games are going to start earlier tomorrow, so we might be back here tomorrow, maybe not. But we will be on Spaces. We're going to do a Spaces later today at 2 Central, 2:15 Central, and then probably the rest of the week as well. But, thanks, everybody, for joining. Thank you, Mr. Hampton.
You're welcome. I mean, the Spaces is the place to be. That's where some great cappers are, I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
So,
all right, guys, let's make some money. Let's get some deep pockets. All right, have a great rest of your day and enjoy. Later.